guys, welcome back to the STPL. My name is Kix. Unfortunately, we have lost a Rapid for today. It's getting incredibly late in Korea. That series actually went on for a lot longer than our series normally go on for, so he gone off to get some rest, which he well deserves and he definitely needs. It's kind of insane that he comes out to cast with me at 5 AM every time as well, so huge props to Rapid. If you want to follow him, you can see his Twitter link down there. It's @RapidCasting. He's always posting a load of cool stuff. He's also got a YouTube channel as well under the same name, where he's doing a load of sort of reviews of tournaments now. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna do for especially season 2, Aggie. It makes it a lot better to have people on their team tags, so I do agree with you on that one. It's something that I've kind of wanted to do for a while, but I'll speak to them and we'll see what we can get going. Obviously, it's a little bit hard when people don't have enough accounts on Europe and stuff like that, so hopefully we can figure it out, but that's definitely going in the rules for Season 2, which will come up, guys, so don't worry. But let's actually have a look at the group rankings here for our teams. This is going to be Group B. This is the first time I've shown off the rankings for a while, just because there was a few problems with missed games and whatnot, not being casted due to I threw out my back at one point, so that wasn't very fun. But basically, SouL currently top in the group, Bull matching them 2-0, Valhalla up close behind them as well, with Storm and DM very close behind too. And now Rev, unfortunately, down at the bottom of the table so far, with FBW not too far behind, but a very, very close group here we've got so far. And if we actually have a look at the team histories quickly, I know we haven't really shown that off too much, we've mainly been skipping into the overlay, but you'll see that Storm, the beaten Clan Revolution, they did lose to FBW. That was the 2 round 3 games. And Storm are one of those teams where they haven't historically done super well in the STPL, so it's a little bit unfortunate. They've got strong players, but the games just haven't gone their way. Now their opponents are going to be here are SouL. Now SouL did win round 3. They beat White Clan in the semi-finals playoffs 4-0 to get their revenge against them, and then they beat NetWars in the final 4-2. And their first 2 games in round 4 have been against Clan Rev and Valhalla, where they won 4-0 and 3-1 respectively, with Anne taking down Scan in that series, which was really, really sick. Let's actually have a quick look at today's matchup, just to have a look here, just to see how both teams have done. You'll see that SouL have actually won 21 of the series they've played. Storm have unfortunately only won 4. But they are here in round 4 with a renewed sense of optimism. I think I said that before, so I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's all good. It's always fun to watch how Storm are going to do. And if we actually have a look at today's rosters, we can have a look at what the key matchup and stuff is going to be. So we're going to start off with a PvT between Headmaster and Bjol. We're going to then go into a TVP between Kiko and Noob. And then we're going to go into a PvT between Marine and Scan. Then finally on Game 4, of course, before the Ace match, if we get there, is going to be a ZVZ between Mitak and Bliss. So lots of TVP today. If you're a fan of Terran or Protoss, you are in the right place here. We've got some really cool matchups. Bjol versus Headmaster should be fun. Kiko versus Noob should be good. Marine versus Scan, of course, very good. And Mitak versus Bliss should be interesting, because Bliss is kind of a new player for SouL. So it's going to be cool to see how he's going to do, following in the footsteps of players like Spire and Miso on SouL Gaming. So let's actually have a look at our first couple of players here. It's going to be Headmaster fighting for Storm now. Headmaster is one of those players for Psi that always comes out and wins when it counts. He's beaten some good players. That is Flash from Bull. It's not the actual Flash, it's a different one, just to make sure you know. But he did lose to Terra, but he beat Gyro, who is a pretty good Korean Terran. So Headmaster's really, really good when he needs to be. His win ratio is about 50%, which is really, really good over the amount of games he's played. So shout outs to him. He's a great, great player on their roster. His opponent fighting for SouL is going to be bjorl. Yep, it's the bjorl from ASL. If you've been watching that recently, he's qualified for both the previous seasons. He's 4-for-1 against Protoss. The one loss he took in the finals of round 3 against Yeti on Athena 2. And it was a sick, sick game. And if you did miss it, okay, I'm gonna bring myself on screen a second, because I need to point something out. Rapid has been having a go at, well, not having a go, but he's been mentioning for ages, right, that I need to add buttons under the stream that go to various things. So, if you cast your eyes underneath the stream window, right below me, you will see I've added a button for YouTube, I've added a button for Patreon, a button for Twitter. I've added tons of buttons that go to various places. So, yeah, just do what you can and basically have a look. Looks like Age has started up his stream as well, so maybe he's gonna look to do his own little bit of streaming. So I'll host him maybe afterwards if he's still going. But let's actually jump in and have a look at today's map. It's going to be Eye of the Storm. So Eye of the Storm is one of those really cool 4-player maps. Not going to go into it too much. We've seen 2 PVTs here so far, 1-to-1 in fit, well, not in favor of anyone. We saw first take down Cryarch here, which is a little bit of an upset actually, and we saw Reyna take down Tech. So 1-to-1, not too much to say. And let's actually have a look at game number 1. It's pSi versus SouL here in the STPL round 4. Okay, starting us off in the top left-hand position, we do have the teal Protoss fighting for pSi Storm. It's Headmaster. And his opponent spawning over here in the top right-hand position is the the Peach Terran fighting for SouL. It's bjorl. Now, just while we're in a little bit of a lull, there's a few. Yeah, it's bjorl the pro gamer, and he is pretty sick. Well, he's technically a Korean amateur. He never got a pro license in Korea when there was still a thing through Courage tournaments, so he's classed as an amateur player. He's kind of the underdog in the ASL, but qualifying to the ASL twice in a row is incredibly impressive. But he's shown that he's not unbeatable here in the STPL. Yeti took him down in a PVT on Athena 2, which I would actually argue is pretty Terran favoured, so it's really impressive that Yeti managed to win that game. But it looks like Headmaster going to be going for a forward gateway here to start us off in the series. Maybe looking to put a little bit of aggression against a player who's known to be a little bit defensive early on. Now, nice to see you, Big Blue Blitz. There is actually at least 3 more games after this. This is the start of our second series. Of course, if you did miss any of the previous games from the STPL, after the stream you can check it out on Twitch, and tomorrow you'll be able to check it out using the button below the stream to go to the STPL TV YouTube, where every single game that's been played in the STPL so far is down there. There's over 400 VODs, I think it is now. There's been way more than 400 games have been played. Some of the series have been uploaded as one. I've started doing that after a poll because splitting up all the VODs took me forever, and it just made it harder to get the VODs out to you guys. So kind of glad I can do that a little bit quicker. I've been putting my cool little thumbnail that I made on there, and yeah, it's just in case you're new to the STPL today, I just want to kind of explain this. Like, the STPL has been going on since March last year, so there's obviously been a lot of dedication from my side because I've been organising and casting for so long, but more importantly there's been a huge amount of dedication from teams like pSi and SouL, who have been around since the very beginning. I don't believe pSi and SouL have ever given a walkover series or anything either. They've played and given lineups every single week on time, and just overall it's been an absolute pleasure to run the tournament. Like, all all of the captains have done a great job. There's a few that I must admit I've had a few problems with, but mainly they're the teams that have dropped out, so it's not a massive deal. It's all good, but the STPL is going to be going for at least a little bit longer. We've got a little bit of a Zealot micro going on here against the Marines, but this is the funny thing about early game Zealots. They just kind of run past your wall and then run into your main, and now you're forced to pull SCVs. That's obviously only the first Zealot, so there's a bit of a distraction here. Headmaster doing a pretty good job with this, going to be able to pull all of the Marines back. The second Zealot going to try and force a... Oh, this SCV has gotten so lucky. Why are my SCVs never this lucky? What has bjorl done? What god did he pray to? What idol did he worship? I don't have any idea, but my SCV would have 100% died there. But there we go, looks like the SCVs are going to clean up this Zealot with the Marines, so Headmaster not done as much damage as maybe he would like to. bjorl obviously does have his expansion up. Has managed to get a couple of Marines, but that's not really good enough. So back at home, Headmaster not really adding on any additional tech, going into Dragoon range. Gonna go into his own expansion here, but you can see just how far behind this expansion is now. So it looks like we are going to need to see some form of tech coming in from Headmaster. Now, interestingly, Headmaster has hidden the probe. Oh, the probe is going to get scoured. That's a little bit unfortunate. He can't, like, proxy a robo or anything in his opponent's base and then catch him off guard with either walking up to his mineral line or anything like that. But Headmaster is going to see the two factories coming down. This is a very standard follow-up to the one Rex expand. And Headmaster, for a second I thought he was going to go for a quick third base. Isn't going to be going for that. He's going to go for a Dragoon scouting there. But the SCV is going to get in the base and scout the robo. So everything's pretty much working out perfectly at the moment for bjorl. Okay, so I mean the next major phase of this game is we're going to see the Headmaster go for a lot of gateways, tech up to Reaver, try and do a push. He could obviously go for some kind of Bulldog as well, where you basically take a shuttle with all of your units and you drop 4 Zealots. It feels like 7 when you're playing Terran, but 4 Zealots on top of the siege tanks that are in defense, and you try and break the bunker. Now, bjorl has shown in previous games in the STPL that he's actually very, very strong against early aggression. It's the same with Scan. One of the reasons that... Okay, this is maybe me talking from my perspective of seeing a lot of games of Brood War and knowing what the Korean ladder and stuff is like. I think one of the major differences between Koreans and foreign players is Koreans are so good at taking early damage or dealing with early damage without messing up their build order, and that's because from what I understand, every other game on the Korean ladder is just cheese, unless you're at the very, very top level. Now, bjorl is playing at that top level now, but for the longest time he would have been fighting on Fish, fighting on Battle.net, against all the randoms on ladder, and there's so much cheese on the Korean ladder. Like, I'm sure there's people in the audience here who watch, sometimes you get matched with Koreans. 90% of the time you're going to get some kind of cheese, because Koreans are really good at cheesing people. They're like, you have Peru. They're the main cheeses in Brood War. Everyone will agree to that. I'm even sure Terra and Dandy will agree to that as the top Peruvian players. But Koreans are pretty good at cheese themselves. They do a lot of early aggression. And a lot of the time it's because they like to dictate the pace of the game. Now, we see players in the foreign community like Eonzerg do that. We've got the first Reaver coming in the shuttle. There are some mines being laid down by these vultures, which will delay any third base coming out from Headmaster here. There's actually going to be another couple of vultures trying to move in the back here. Now, funnily enough, Headmaster bjorl is going to scout that there's a Reaver coming in, but he doesn't see the shuttle just yet, so this Reaver is actually going to get into the mineral line. It looks like only a single turret is in defense in this. Oh my god, this could be a lot of damage from this Reaver if he can cancel this this turret. Nice Scarab going down on that first tank. The turret is going to finish, but that's not in a good place to defend, and it looks like the Reaver actually going to shoot the SCV building and the other turret. And bjoll is in a bit of trouble here. He's going to have to finish this turret, or this Reaver is just going to fly in and out of his base over and over again. Now, the first Reaver has been repelled for now. The tanks are sieged, and this is bjoll's play. Now, bjoll actually learned from Flash. I believe that Flash tutored him for kind of the Africa Challenger series they did, which is where bjoll made his debut in the kind of pro scene. And it really does show in his play, because bjoll plays incredibly similar to Flash. He'll play very defensively early on, build up his tank count, and then he'll go for like some kind of big 2-1 push or some big timing. Now, different to players like Fantasy back in the day, obviously you see a lot of really strange timing pushes. He wouldn't wait for upgrades, he wouldn't wait to max, he'd kill like 2 Dragoons and know that, hey, I can actually push now. And while that isn't exactly the hardest thing for someone who's played the game as much as bjoll to do, he definitely plays a lot more conservative. Now, he is going to be using the Reavers to kill this command center. Now, all he needs to do is cancel this, so the Reaver's actually going to waste this. He's going to put it to burning. Now, you can see that's a lot of wasted Scarabs for not that much monetary gain. Now, the Reaver's going to come in, the turret just about finishes, so this shuttle is going to have to make a decision. Speed is done, but oh my god, he's going to lose the... Oh, 1 hit away from death on that shuttle. The Goliath getting a little bit unlucky there, but he is going to have to get the shuttle out of dodge, because if that shuttle goes down, that's a big part of Headmaster's play. Now, Headmaster is doing a pretty good job macroing back at home. He's got 82 supply already, and he's got a lot of gateways, so he is going to be going for a big bust here on the Terran, who's trying to take a 3rd base. Now, I don't see where that shuttle went. Oh, there we go. He's actually got it with the army, but this is still very dangerous. Oh my god, he's going to fly into a turret. He needs to be careful. Okay, it looks like we are going to have the Dragoons pushing up a lot of the tanks down the bottom at the 3rd base. Not going to be much help. The shuttle goes down, only dropping 1 of the Reavers. But this is a lot of Dragoons coming in. There's not that many siege tanks. Can Headmaster break his way through bjoll here? Oh, he's not committing. He doesn't get that final shot on the tank, and all of a sudden, things have gone from really good to really bad here for Headmaster, who's losing most of his army to the tanks on the low ground. And a little bit of indecision there actually costing Headmaster his entire army. The Zealot is going to be able to clean up this last tank, possibly. No, the repair comes in at the last second and saves that tank. But all of a sudden, oh, the mines, the mines, the mines, the mines. He gets a big mine off on top of those Dragoons. Oh, this is not looking good for Headmaster now. bjoll is getting his 3rd base up. He's getting the defense up here as well. Just think, if there was another Reaver in that fight, the tanks at the high ground would have died. The bunker would have died. If he'd have just managed to shoot the last tank as well with his last hits rather than that bunker as well, maybe that fight could have gone differently. He could have broken into the main. The Headmaster going for another cancel on this CC. This isn't necessarily a bad move, but he does need to make it quick, because there's going to be tanks moving in from bjoll to try and get in here to defend this. Now, slowing this CC down is going to be very, very big. bjoll is going to need that 3rd gas, and he's not going to get it for free, and that's like the major important thing. The Zealot's going to be focusing this command center. Dragoons actually should be focusing it as well. He needs to force that cancel, because these units are going to be forfeit. Now, he does have to push up the high ground to kill this, but that's another cancelled 3rd base. But the trouble is, Headmaster can't expand himself, so looks like the tank's going to clear up the units once again. And Headmaster continues to be thwarted at every possible angle. But a great played game by bjoll. You can really see that stalwart defense coming from the teachings from Flash here, because he's just not taking damage early game. Now, that Vulture, or that Zealot even, trying to go in to get this CC a little bit more. We did have a couple of scans going down just to see exactly what Headmaster was doing. But we see he's actually gone into a Templar Archives. He's going for a Stargate. He's going to be going for 2 base Arbiter behind this. And this is going to be the big play from him. If he can get some money storms, if he can get a big stasis off, maybe he can make something happen. Now that Ariva does come in here with a couple of Zealots, does stop the command center from being built again. And this does start to build up. Now, obviously, Bjorn is way ahead in supply. That's can't dispute that. That's a fact on your screen, and that was due to the fact the fight went so badly for Headmaster early on. But Bjorn still needs a third base. He still needs that third gas. His tank count isn't going to be as high as maybe he wants to. He's overmaking Goliaths here. Or maybe not overmaking, but he's making a lot of Goliaths to try and cancel out any possible carrier switch. But it's going to be Arbiters coming in. I don't think he actually scanned that. So looks like we are going to have a scan going down now on the army. Wait, where did he scan? I think he must have killed one of the observers. Looks like the Goliaths must have cleaned that up. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he scanned this, but it got away, so that's something. But here we go. It looks like he's going to try and go for a storm here, or a timing with storm, but this is going to be Bjorn on the high ground. Oh my god, that mine going off on the units. Headmaster's trying to make a push in here. He doesn't have enough zealots to make this work. He's going for a storm, but the High Templar getting sniped. The shuttle goes down. And this is definitely going from bad to worse. Bjorn is up by 70 supply at this point in the game, and he could pretty much just unsiege and go. It looks like he's playing a little bit more defensively still. And that was one in the ace match. If you don't want to see the series, the games were well worth watching, especially the last two. You can see it on the VOD on Twitch already, or when the cast ends, you can see it up on YouTube as well, which you can get to via the button underneath the stream. I'm going to keep pimping that because I do need to remind that. Now, the funny thing is, Headmaster tried to hide a base, a possible fourth base for Bjorn. But unfortunately, that's not going to work. Looks like Bjorn is going to find that, take it out, and he's going to expand down into this bottom left as well. You can see the scans going down on the middle of the map, just checking for any additional bases from Headmaster. This is all Headmaster has. He's going to try and clear the mines in the middle, see if he can get a miraculous engagement. But Bjorn is definitely far ahead. It looks like I still didn't turn back on the unit panel, but Bjorn at +1 attack. We don't have any upgrades for Headmaster right now. He is going into Stasis. Stasis Field can be a very powerful tool in the Protoss arsenal to try and bring back fights, but more mines going off on more Dragoons. And every single lost unit at the moment for Headmaster is one that he can't realistically replace. It's not that he doesn't have the money, he has the money, but he doesn't have the time. Now, we are going to have a few of these Vultures going down to these Dragoons. But the trouble is the Dragoons are now out in the middle of nowhere, and the tanks are going to trap them. And this is that big moment again. Headmaster sending his units and getting them trapped against this Terran army. He's down 96 supply. And oh, mine's going off on all the Zealots, actually doing a lot of damage to them. They're so important. Without the Zealots, you can't tank the tank shots. The units of Headmaster going down. The tanks just pushing forward. That's a nice storm. But unfortunately, one storm is not going to stop this army. 2-1 coming in at the perfect timing. Actually dropping on top of unsieged tanks. Losing the High Templar. The Arbiter doesn't have enough energy for storm. And GG. Bjorn takes down Headmaster in game number 1. Okay, so, well, that was game number 1. Bjorn taking a win there over Headmaster. Statistically, you would say that's expected. Headmaster had a chance to break Bjorn, though. Just a couple of little mistakes cost Headmaster that game in the end of the day. So, a little bit unfortunate, but Headmaster should keep his head high. He did really well against someone of Bjorn's caliber. And that's going to take us into game number 2, which is going to be Noob versus Kiko, when I get back just after this short break. See you guys in just a minute or so. Thank you, Herb, for the host. I'm just quickly loading up the next replay, so we'll be here in just a second. Hey guys, welcome back to the STPL. Nyan Nyan. I always hate saying Nyan Nyan because I can say it properly, but I always say it wrong when I'm trying to say it properly. So, either way, if you want to know the results of Networth versus Ash, I can tell you, or you can check out the VOD after the cast. The games are well worth watching. So do go check those out afterwards, even if you know the results. But someone in chat can probably help you. I don't want to spoil it for anyone else who's just tuned in who maybe wants to watch the VODs afterwards. So we're going into game number 2 here. It's going to be between a newer player for pSi. It's going to be Kiko. Now, Kiko was actually in their roster from, I believe, the beginning under a different name as Zajek or something. But I'm not really sure exactly who he is. So it's going to be one of those times where there's not really too much talk about his match history. So let's actually have a quick look at at Noobs even. Noob is one of the highest ranked players in the SCPL, and you can see why. He's 16 for 2 overall against his opponents. He lost to Kogut, but he beat Marwin last, that's Red last. He lost to Famas-E, and he beat him up incomplete, and he beat Kogut before as well. So kind of cool to see how this is going to play out as we get into our second map here. It's going to be Great Barrier Reef. Now, Great Barrier Reef is one of those cool 3-player maps I absolutely love to watch games on. It's going to be our first PvT here. Depending on the skill level of Kiko, this could be a little bit one-sided, not too sure. Can't judge a book by its cover. Obviously we don't have anything to go on for Kiko, but this is going to be his chance to shine as we get into game number 2. It's pSi versus SouL, Kiko versus Noob. Hey Zero, nice to see you. Starting us off here in the top middle position, we do have the Red Protoss fighting for SouL. It's Noob. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left position, we do have, in the orange, fighting for pSi, it's Kiko. Now I'm going to have to give a little bit of props here to Kiko. Obviously I said I don't know too much of his stats, but anyone who knows me or has seen me stream knows I love Orange Terran. Orange Terran is the best color, so I'm going to have to side with Kiko on this one. Obviously we don't want any bias in the cast, but Orange Terran is always a pleasure to watch. There's just something, like, you know what? It's just me, there's no one else here casting, we're at the very early stages of the game. Look how majestic the orange SCV looks. It looks so good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love the orange SCV. Red Protoss looks kind of cool as well. But orange Terran, that's bueno. Purple Protoss is the other one as well. Purple Protoss is just great. But we got a relatively standard opening for both players here. Looks like Kiko has brought his wall around the wrong way slightly, so any early zealots could cause a little bit of pain, and that's obviously something that we don't want to see, but hopefully Kiko will be ready for this. Maybe he's going to add on an additional depot over here. This should be quite normal. Then you've also got this kind of choke as well, which helps. Kiko going into gas after barracks, so not going for 1 ranks fast expand or anything. We are going to have Cybernex Core coming up for Noob, so things are looking about as standard as you could possibly hope for. Now it looks like Noob is going to try and get the SCV there, but second SCV pulled, making it a little bit harder. Noob has to be careful not to lose this because it's very important you keep those alive. That scouting probe, kind of losing that is kind of a really big psychological effect as well. Like, losing your scouting SCV is bad, especially in TVZ. It's even worse in PvZ when they lose the scouting probe. In PvP or in PvT though, realistically your probe should never die. Like, your probe goes in, it scouts the factory timing, it scouts the gas timing, it steals the gas, it builds pylons all over your mineral line. But Terran doesn't really have a way to deal with it other than SCV micro. And probes have range, SCVs do not. Well, SCVs have one range, but yeah, it doesn't count as melee. So probes have a little bit of an edge there. They can kind of micro against the SCV if you try hard enough. Now it is going to be a Zealot against 2 Marines here. This is going to be where that hole in the wall is going to cause a few problems. How is Kiko's Marine micro? Now it is going to be 2-fact, and that's been scouted by the Zealot, which is something. That's a good move by Noob. Now, this is one of those heartbreaking moments where you realize, wait, I built the barracks around the wrong way, so all of a sudden the Zealot runs through and kills all your Marines anyway. But good micro so far, but this probe gets the Marine, pulls away, and lives to kill another day as the first Dragoon does come in, and this is where things start to spiral out of control. If you lose those first couple of Marines, all of a sudden, all you have to do— oh my god, a Marine against the probe. The probe gets another kill. Noob, stop, please. Leave the poor Marines alone. They've done nothing. Repair these SCVs, Kiko, because they're all that's keeping you in the game right now. You need to keep them alive. He's going to lose one of those SCVs. Noob doing a really good job off the back of this. Now it looks like Kiko is going to go in for a scout. That is going to be denied by the Dragoon. Nope, never mind. That SCV is going to get up on the high ground, but there is another Dragoon up here, which is going to stop this. Now, what is Noob's tech path? He's going for Citadel, and Kiko not see it. That is very, very unfortunate, because Citadel means one thing. It means DTs. And like, 2-fact is a strong build. It's a strong build early game, especially against one gateway. We're seeing that Noob is actually going to add a second gateway on after his Templar Archives. But one thing that 2-fact doesn't have is detection. Now, detection is key. If you don't have detection, you're going to die to DTs. But unfortunately, looks like Kiko may have a few problems living to the point of worrying about DTs, because Noob is on top of absolutely everything. Still, that means Dark Archons to steal an SCV. I live for the day I get to see that in STPL. That's one thing I've not seen. So, just while we're in a bit of a lull, while we wait to see what exactly is going to happen, we've seen Queens, we've seen Infested Terrans, we've seen Dark Archons in a PvP, mind-controlling carriers on Plasma. We've seen nukes, we've seen lockdown in TVT, we've seen lockdown in TVP as well. We've seen carriers, we've seen scouts, we've seen corsairs against Terran. The one thing we haven't seen is mind control of a worker and like a tank recall. Now, if you're watching this as an SCPL player or a Protoss and you're like, I wanna be Kix's favorite guy. Well, if you want to be my favorite guy, gal, or person, then all you've got to do is build a Dark Archon, steal a worker, and go and like recall tanks. That's what we need to see. We haven't seen a Nidus in the main of a ZVZ either. Like, Hive ZVZ is one thing we haven't seen, but that's also very good. That's a good idea. Let's make that happen. Let's make it happen. Now, we're going to see the 2-fact try and push down the— oh my god, the DT! This is going to be a sick mind drag! Oh no! Oh no! This is not going to be good. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. But there we go, the DT's getting it in the main now. Oh, the mind drag, not gonna mind drag here, so looks like he's gonna be okay. But these mines are getting dangerously close to the mineral line. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no! Oh, the mind drag taking out over half of the SCVs! Suddenly Kiko is in a lot of trouble. I mean, we saw vultures go over here to the top right base, but I can't take my eyes off this DT because— oh my god. That's gonna be an— oh no, move the DT over to the right. Oh no, this is not good. All the SCVs have been pulled. He's got nothing mining anymore. That's it. He's gonna long distance mine against Noob here, but unfortunately, this game, I don't like to call games done, but this is done. Like, he's lost over half his SCVs to a Dark Archon, lost another load to the Dark Archon itself. He's gonna Mind Drag into more SCV. Oh! Okay, that wasn't as bad. But still, Noob has done catastrophic damage to Kiko now. He has his second Nexus up. He's on 3 gateways. He's got a Robo coming in, so that means one thing. A shuttle's coming. And a shuttle and DT somewhere in Korea right now. It's about 6 a.m. Artos is waking up because he has young kids, so he probably wakes up around this time. He's sensing a Dark Archon drop coming. Now, it's not guaranteed. It could just be for observers. And that's likely going to be what it's for. But if Noob really wants to put on a clinic here, he would go for a shuttle and drop some DTs. Okay, let's see if Kiko can do something now. Another DT going to run out here. Actually going to help block the vultures. So, Kiko, he has... Let's count his SCVs. He's got at least 12, 13 there, I believe, 14, 15. So 15 SCVs in a dream is what Kiko has back here. He's got double tank production, so it is going to be kind of hard for him to die. Unless we see a shuttle DT drop. Make it happen, Noob. Come on. Make it happen. I'm sending my message back into the past when this game was played on Friday, or on Sunday even. And I'm trying to see it happen. Now Kiko's scouting around, seeing if he can find out what's going on. But Noob taking a third base. And Kiko, unfortunately, is a long, long way away from another command center at this point. He's actually over mining gas. Now, this is a mistake that's very easy to make, especially when you're maybe a little bit flustered, which he will certainly be, especially after that mine. I really hope someone clipped that mine, by the way, because if not, I'm going to have to go back and clip it myself, and that's really annoying. So one thing I'm going to make a request to you guys. If you guys want to help the STPL, obviously you can do it financially through subbing to the channel or through Patreon. But if you want to help me in a real significant way along with the financial one, if you can't financially support, it's fine. But one thing you can do is clip good bits, because if you clip good bits, I know exactly where to look back to get highlights. It saves me trying to remember to do it, because oftentimes I forget. And then, obviously, the more clips we have, the more stuff we can share. And the more stuff that's shared, the more Brood War gets shared on Twitter and Reddit. And the more people tune into the STPL, and more people tune into foreign tournaments in general. So, if you can, you see something cool, hit that clip button on Twitch. It's really easy to do. Just give it a name as well, so I know what the clip is. And then we're all good to go. Now, there is a shuttle coming in. SCV going to scout that, but this is kind of the last hurrah by Kiko. He has no detection, so his plan here is going to be to slowly siege his way forward. He's going to be up against 4 zealots in a shuttle and a DT, so looks like we might have at least a single scan, but here's the problem. Now, DT's going to run in, zealots on top of the tanks, going to do a lot of damage, and this is just too many units. GG! Noob takes the game. Okay, so now the effect of solo casting is slowly catching up with my voice, so we're going to go into game 3. That was a relatively quick game, so you know what? I'm going to try and load up the next game as soon as I possibly can. Now, one of the things of having Rapid here, which is quite useful, is while I'm doing all the production stuff in the background, he kind of fills in. And I think it's part of the reason why Zero has kind of stepped down from casting the BSL. Obviously, Zero is here, and he can confirm, but it means he can focus on the production, then Rapid can do the casting. So it's a little bit of a shame we don't get Zero casting anymore. I think Zero's casting was really good, and hopefully he'll come back maybe for the finals to cast again, because that would be really cool. But we're going to go into game number 3. It's going to be on Fortress SE, and it's going to be Scan versus Marine. So let me sort out the replay quickly. I'll just quickly load up this as well. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying the show so far. I see there's 97 lucky people in the audience, and I'm hoping you're basically enjoying what you're seeing. Obviously, a lot of love from me goes into the STPL. It's kind of my baby. I know Rapid puts a lot of love into this as well, because otherwise you wouldn't wake up at 5 AM to cast all the time. Thank you for the follow, Brood War Fanatic. You have a great name. It's really good to see other people still in love with Brood War as well. So Let's quickly add the win for noob, load up the next replay, and we'll get in here with Scan versus Marine. Yeah, this is kind of the moment where when I'm doing production, it makes it kind of awkward to like talk at the same time. That's why I'd usually go for a break, but the game was so quick, I kind of feel like I'm cheating you guys for going for a break. So we got everything ready now. Just quickly gonna hop into the. I guess we'll hop into the overlay and introduce the map first because that's something we always do. Production is key. So now we've got everything ready. Let's just skip straight. Actually, let's introduce our players here. They've got a little bit of history here in the STPL. So, looking at player number 1, it's going to be Marine fighting pSi. Now, Marine has played most of their games. Now, I say that, he's actually... Yeah, he has. So, he's actually played in 17 series for pSi. He plays a different race nearly every game. He plays all 3 races to a proficient level. He's not a top foreigner, but he's still pretty decent. Now, EBT has certainly been one of his weakest matchups here so far, so 1 for 7 for him. Scan, on the other hand, 7 for 3 against Protoss. He lost to Ann, that was his most recent game. He lost to Best in round 1 as well. That was the Best, so Best White. White Clan Best from the ASL round of 8. It was really cool to see him play against Scan. It was kind of like a look into what it would look like if Scan, when he gets out of the army and can go into like the ASL qualifiers and stuff. I know he's going to be in the army for quite a while yet, but he's here in the STPL, repping his team SouL, and just being an overall boss. He's actually going to be taking over he's taking over the role of captain for a couple of weeks because Fujikura, basically the captain of SouL, I don't know where my words went, but he's up against them. So we're going into Fortress SE. That's going to be our 3rd map of today. Apparently I've not changed any of the production. Here we go. Let's get everything ready. Let's reset and let's get ready. So Fortress SE, 4-player map. Won't go into it too much. We've had 2 TVPs here so far. We had a TVZ here earlier on today, so we've seen a little bit of this map already. 1-to-1 in, well, I always go in favor, but it's kind of a draw so far. TT1 took down Flymeo, Raider took down PRL. Let's see if Marine can take down Scan here, or are we going to have another win for SouL on the board? Let's find out as we get into game number 3. Okay, starting us off here in the bottom middle position, in the green, we do have fighting for SouL. It's their standing captain. And their overall boss of a player, it's Scan. Now his opponent spawning here in the top right hand position. In the red, fighting for pSi. It's one of their mainstays, it's Marine. Okay, so what are we going to see from this game? We're seeing a mix of long and short games today. It's not like we've had kind of a crazy amount of either. It's been a good day of the STPL, I'd say. I know there's been a lot of people watching, so I know the games have kind of kept your attention, which is the best thing that I could hope for. And this is Korean Scan playing from the military. He's actually doing community service for his military because I believe he's actually got medical exclusion, and it means he's going to be in the service for a little bit longer, but he's following in the footsteps of Zero. That's Woongjin Star Zero, who just got back from doing the same thing, and I think there's another couple of pro gamers in Korea that are doing the same thing as well. I think Sak is doing this too, so really cool to see Scan here. He's been kind of a mainstay for SouL's lineup. He's been in most of their games. It's really cool that he's using the little free time he gets from being in the military to actually play Brood War for us and show us some really great games. Unfortunately, he's unable to stream just based on Korean I think there's some kind of law in Korea where if you're doing military service, you're not allowed to profit, which is why he's allowed to play in tournaments, where he's kind of playing for his team rather than himself, and he's not allowed to stream because that counts as profiting. It's kind of weird. Now, unfortunately, I can speak Japanese, but I can't speak Chinese, so you'll have to forgive me for not being able to read that. But if anyone can read, I believe that's Mandarin, in chat, then please do let me know what was said, because I always like to respond to everyone. Yeah, Marine, he's going into relatively standard build, not going to bother going for a Zealot against Scan. He knows the Scan's building a wall up here at the front. And Scan going into one factory. Let's see if he's pulled out of gas. Yes, he has. So, going to be a factory expand coming in from Scan. And everything is kind of looking as you'd expect at this stage in the game. We should have range coming in. As I click on it, it starts almost like magic. It's like I work as an IT support engineer, and whenever I go over to people's desks, all of a sudden their problem's fixed, and I haven't even done anything. So it's like if by magic my IT support magic works here at Brood Casting as well. Now we're going to have Scan going for a bunker. This is kind of a modern variation of that factory expand. Now, back in the day, the main build and the build you would only see, other than 2-fact, I mean, going back far enough, okay, let's be real here. Going back to like 2005, 2006, the only build you ever saw was like 2-fact, because you couldn't fast expand against Protoss. Like, that was just not something you could do. I mean, people tried and they failed, and that's why nobody did it. Nada and Uve were kind of the two main front runners for starting off the whole fast expanding versus Protoss, and the way they did it is it went for siege mode. They go siege mode, get a couple of tanks on your high ground, take your natural expansion. Now, more recently, we're seeing mine expand coming out from players. Siege mode expand is still a thing for a lot of people, but you have like a more modern style. It takes the movement of going for that one racks expand, of going for a bunker, being able to build the command center on the low ground, and it gives you that little bit of extra economy a little bit earlier on. Now, oh my god, Scan's actually going to get a Vulture all the way into the base here. This is going to kill a lot of probes if Marine doesn't have a Dragoon popping out at the right time. So 2 probes have gone down already. Let's keep an eye on this. Dragoons coming back home, absolutely nothing they can do. Now, Marine is just trying to buy time. He doesn't want to lose too many probes, but this is 4 probes on one base. Like, this is something you can't really afford to lose. Now, there are 2 Dragoons coming in, but that's a 5th probe going down. And that's a problem. Now, there is a proxy, which I was waiting to show off, but someone pointed out in the chat, Nyan Artist coming in there with the kind of spoilers. But this is likely going to be a Reaver. Now, you can proxy a Citadel. I saw it in a game today between... Who was the game I was watching? It was Uve versus Chalronge. That's the kind of games I've been watching recently, and there's a big reason for that. I'm not going to explain what it is just yet, but it is about an upcoming STPL project, and one of the maps that is going to be appearing in that, I'm trying to get some knowledge of the map because it was kind of around before I started watching. So, Uve versus Chalronge, we saw Proxy Citadel. Now, Proxy Reaver is the kind of modern take on the Proxy. You don't really see Proxy Citadel too much. The Scan is going to know, as Nyan did say, that there's something up here. Now, he saw there was no Nexus. He's not going to be able to get back in, but he saw no Nexus at 4 minutes. So he knows at least there's some form of tech. And realistically, Scan has played enough games to know it's likely going to be Robo. Now, obviously, he's not going to be able to tell for sure without scouting, which this isn't really going to be something he's scouting for. Now, he's actually going to go for a Proxy Gateway and a Robo. Now, one of the things you can do on this map is actually go for a lot of shuttle-based harassment play. It doesn't necessarily have to be Reavers. And there's no support mate coming in just yet. The Robo is just finished up. The probe is actually left where the gateway is. Wait. Oh no, it's not. It's hidden behind the Robo. Look at that hidden guy. But there's no Robo support bay just yet. You can force out turrets and then not go Robo, and then all of a sudden you have a lot of units. Now, there is a pylon coming up in the main. There's a lot of units being forced out of the gateways. I say forced, but they're just being built. But there's no Robo. No robo support base, so this is going to be a shuttle. He's going for a bulldog here against Scan. This is a dangerous play. Now, one thing you can do is you can actually drop a Dragoon on this high ground, and it makes it very hard for the tanks to kill them. Unfortunately, I believe you can fit a Dragoon up there anyway. I'm fairly certain I've fit a tank on there before, and Dragoons I think have the same footprint as tanks, so that should be kind of cool to see if that happens, but looks like the first of the shuttles is finished. He's going to pick up both of his zealots here. That's going to allow him to go for this bulldog. Fourth zealot on the way behind this. Is there a robo coming up behind? Still no robo. Still no robo over here either. So this is going to be entirely based around if this can work. So he's going to fly in with the shuttle from one angle, fly in or move in with the Dragoons from the other, but he's moving in a little bit late. Now here we go, the shuttle has dropped out. He's dropped the zealots, or the zealots on top of the tanks, but a lot of the Dragoons have gone down already. Scan pulling his SCVs at the perfect time. Gonna thwart this attack for now. And Marine is going to be very, very far behind. GG! Scan with a perfect defense. Marine with a little bit of a botched attack there is going to be taken out by Scan in game number 2. Okay, so that's going to take us into game 3. I'm going to take a very short break just to give my voice a little bit of a rest. I'll be like a minute or something, so don't go anywhere. If you do want to do something in the time being, check out the buttons below. You can check the brackets. You can check out the Twitter. Follow STPL on Twitter. Follow the YouTube as well, because then you know exactly when the bots go up. You can also, if you so choose to, you can donate to the stream down there. You can donate to the Maturino page, which goes to the prize pool, and you can also sub on Patreon. If you sub on Patreon, obviously it's the best way to support me, other than through direct donations. But if you want to support the STPL as well, that's a good place to do it. You can get access to all of the STPL replays with the $5 tier. So I'll be back in just a second with game number 3. Guys, welcome back to the STPL. Now we obviously do have a 3-0 victory here for SouL, but we have a chance for Mitak here to bring it back, but well, not bring it back, but bring it to a little bit of pride here for pSi and take a win off of SouL. It's going to be a ZVZ. I know there's probably a few groans in the audience, but never fear, ZVZ is actually really sick. So let's jump straight into actually looking at what map's coming up, and then we can get straight into the game because it's getting quite late here in the UK. I know there's a lot of European viewers that are probably here at midnight thinking, I need this to end soon, I need to go to bed. But stay with us. This is going to be probably a quick final game. It's obviously ZVZ, but obviously we could get a Hive ZVZ. You never know, but still. Let's actually have a look. In terms of ZVZ, we've not had a single one on this map. It is a 2-player map. Lots of airspace around the main. Not really too much else to say. Let's get into game number 4. It's a chance for pSi to regain a little bit of composure here against SouL, as Mitak takes down new player Bliss for SouL. Okay, starting us off here, over in the right-hand position, we do have the Teal Zerg fighting for pSi. It's Mitak. And his opponent spawning over here in the left-hand side, we do have the Blue Zerg fighting for SouL. It's Bliss. Europe, best country. EU fighting. But yeah, so it's a ZVZ. Both players going to scout themselves first. They know exactly where their opponents are spawned on the two-player map. Looks like they were getting a little bit of lag. This is a global remastered team league. It is arguably the biggest team league, especially prize pool wise. The prize pool is currently at $1,550 something, and thanks to some really generous donations from the community, I couldn't get this far without you guys. It's been absolutely amazing, and we've got teams from all over. So SouL, like Valhalla team, are actually a Korean and South American hybrid. pSi are an entirely Bulgarian team. We saw Net Wars before, an entirely Polish team. And we also saw Net Wars play against Ash. Now, Ash are kind of like a melting pot. They've got players from all over the place, but this is like one of the main reasons why I cast from replays. Looks like we do have 9 pull, 9 gas into Overlord. May have been overpull actually, and we're going to have the same thing. No, it's actually going to be a 12 pull, 12 gas for Mitak, I believe. Sorry, I got kind of confused and didn't follow the early build orders. But Cream Colony coming in for Mitak immediately, thinking that maybe his opponent is going to go for a Ling all in here. Now, there is a little bit of lag, which I was just about to say is one of the reasons why I cast from replays, so I don't cause any more additional lag to the players, because otherwise you've got me in the UK, Mitak in Bulgaria, and then Bliss in Korea, so that would cause a lot of problems. And also, if you think, I've been casting 3 hours, right, nearly, just over, and this is only 2 of the sets. So I would need to cast, yeah, that was a 9 pull and 12 pull, but yeah, basically, I would need something like 16 hours to cast all the STPL games in one day, which is just, it's not possible. It's not possible for the players either. So, looks like we are going to have the first Lings moving in here. Lair coming in first here for Mitak. We're going to have Lair coming up behind by Bliss a little bit later, because obviously they go for speed a little bit quicker. Speed finishing up here. No speed on Mitak's side. He's going to be relying entirely on this Sunken Colony. Now, this could be a little bit misguided, and it could be a very quick game, or this could be a genius move here by Mitak to go into the second hatchery, get that additional production. Now, there's actually, I thought there was 2 hidden Lings, but it was a mineral field and that. But it looks like we've got a few more Lings popping out. The Sunken going to come in handy here to try and hold on. Mitak putting all of his drones back. Bliss doing a lot of damage, getting 1 drone already. Can he get a second one? Gets a lot of the Lings as they're popping out of eggs. And this is the problem with ZVZ. When you get caught off guard by this, when you don't build enough Lings early on, all of a sudden you're in a very dangerous position. Now, we've got the Spire coming in for Bliss in his main base. There's not really any damage. Like, oh my god, the Spire was cancelled by Mitak there. And that's a huge problem. Now, the Spire's going to come back down here again, but it's going to be delayed. It's in another place that the Zerglings can go to. It's actually out of range of the Sunken, I believe. Oh, if he gets a cancel on the Spire again, this is just too much. He needs to build it right here. He needs more Lings, but he's saving up his lava. He wants to try and build that big swell. Another Spire cancelled. Bliss is doing so much damage with so little. More Lings coming in to reinforce this. Obviously, supplies are looking relatively even. But this is just too much. Like, Mitak is struggling so much here against Bliss. He's going to cancel a Spire again. If he loses the Spire for the 5th time, he's not going to be able to come back in this. Another, 26 health. He's going to keep it alive for now. But how long, realistically, is that going to matter? Because the Spire is just about completed here for Bliss. There's still Zerglings inside of Mitak's base, forcing a drone off the line. And this is a drone that Mitak needs. He's down 5 supply, and in any other matchup, that would be nothing, but it's ZVZ. And in ZVZ, every single drone, every single supply matters so unbelievably much. Now, it looks like we do have the 2 hatcheries worth of production. If Mitak even can finish this spire, may win him the air war. He's got a large number of gas over his opponent, but that's because the 3 Mutas are already here for Bliss. And there's going to be absolutely nothing here that can deal with these. He's going to build a lot of Scourge in one go. But Scourge are not enough to win you the game. They're going to come out far too late, and those Spire cancels have worked perfectly here for Bliss. Mitak is going to go down. Good game, good luck. Mitak takes out, Bliss takes out Mitak in game number 3. 4 even. Now they both said GG, but they haven't left yet, so... Okay, well... Game's over, right? Wait, has he called GG too early? I mean, he said GG. If I was Kesper, I'd be leaving the replay right now. I mean, he's dead, right? But he's just trying to get a little bit more experience in here before he leaves the game. Okay, Mitak, there we go. Mitak pieces out. Bliss takes game number 4. Okay, so that means one thing and one thing alone. SouL have taken the 4-0 victory over pSi here in our second series of today, our final series of today as well. Let's actually just bring up the results just to prove exactly what has happened, and then we can close out the stream with some closing words. So let's actually have a look here at the results. Okay, so we saw Yul take down Headmaster, Noob take down Kiko, Scan take down Marine, and Bliss take down Mitak. A relatively straightforward series there, unfortunately, for pSi. But pSi still came out with a lot of gumption. They did a good job in the places where they could, but unfortunately a little bit outskilled in a few of those series, or in a few of those matchups. And it showed. It's a little bit unfortunate here for pSi, who are going to lose another game, but it's all good. They're still here in the STPL. They're still having fun, from what I understand, which is the main thing at the end of the day. And every game they play, I definitely see improvement from pSi. So, really glad to see them back here in round 4. Hopefully, they'll join us when we have our second as well. And just kind of looking forward to seeing exactly how it's all going to go. So, just for closing words, huge thank you to Rapid, who unfortunately did have to peace out after one series because he was super tired and he needed to get some rest. A huge thank you to all of you guys who have tuned in. Huge thank you to the people who retweeted the tweet about the STPL on here. I know that Angie Lee from Blizzard actually retweeted. She's got a lot of followers, so it means a hell of a lot. I don't know if you're watching, Angie, but thank you very, very much for that. It does mean a lot. Anyone who supported me, thank you for the donations I got today, the subs as well, the follows, and of course, if you've clipped anything, it means a lot, so you're making my job a lot easier. Have a very good evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are, and I will be back on Friday with some more STPL action. Have a good day.